Hi there, my name's Anna and welcome back to my art channel. So in today's video I'm painting a plant. I felt like painting something green and I do love botanical drawings and paintings, and so I just searched for a nice reference photo and I came across this plant with long thin leaves, and I've just done some research because I didn't actually know the name of the plant until just now, and it's a type of air plant, so the type that doesn't actually have to sit in earth, that just kind of draws the water and nourishment from the air, if I understand correctly. And I'm reading this off the screen right now, and I think it's called Tillandsia. Okay, and I found the reference photo for this on Unsplash, if you're interested in painting this as well. Yeah, anyway, you can see me sketching my plant here, and I'm just using a mechanical pencil and a very fine-tipped eraser, and just doing my little sketch here. By the way, in my last video I did a sketchbook tour of one of the sketchbooks I just finished, so if you're interested in that you can also check that out. And by the way, if you enjoy this video, remember to give me a thumbs up and to subscribe to my channel. Anyway, here you can see I've gotten out my paints, and I'm using my my little travel set, I think that's from Dollar Rowney, and my Russian paints, I keep forgetting their name, White Nights I think they're called. And I've wet the leaf, and I'm just dropping in different shades of green, and I'm using different mixtures depending on if I want the green to look lighter or darker, adding some yellow where I want it to be lighter, adding some blue some blue where it's meant to be a bit darker, and just letting all of these greens bleed into each other naturally. I think this is a really enjoyable process. I really like the way the colors just blend together, but it's also a bit stressful because you have to be fairly quick to let them blend while the paint is still wet. And of course you have to remember to not paint something besides something that's still wet, where you don't want the colors blending into each other. Right here I'm using, I think it's called a cat tongue brush, but you could use any type of watercolor brush. Really doesn't have to have this shape, although it was just fun because it was new at the time. To use this brush because it does have a very pointy tip and a large belly, kind of, so you can fill large areas but you still have a lot of control. But now I've switched to a smaller watercolor brush just for some extra control here, because the leaves do get very thin at the top. These leaves are kind of folded into themselves, so the center of the plant is kind of hidden, the center of the leaves, and can be a little bit darker and in shadow. And some areas of the plant also have a lot of brown in them. Maybe they're dried out a little bit, or maybe it's just the way the light's hitting them. I'm also using some dark color, I think it might be either Payne's grey or black, to mix into the green for the really dark areas. There's other ways, of course, you can mix your own dark color, but when you want to be fast and you don't want to keep remixing, I think it's legitimate to use black or Payne's grey or something like that, just to darken the very dark areas. And basically I'm just repeating the same process for all of these leaves. I'm just looking at my reference photo and what shade of green I'm seeing, and then that's just the color I put down, and I let the colors bleed into each other. And obviously it doesn't have to be perfect because it's a plant. I mean, nobody's going to know what color green which leaf was, so you can just have fun and let the green colors blend into each other and just go with whatever you think is pretty. But I guess it's good to look at where you have dark areas and where you have lighter areas, just so you have some contrast, because that will make it look more realistic. I've switched my brush again, but there's no specific reason, I don't think. you can probably do this entire painting with just one brush, because if you have a nice watercolor brush, usually the round brush will have a very fine tip, so you can get lots of detail, and if it's a decently sized one, you can also put down a lot of paint when you want to by just pressing down harder. I'm very pleased with how this turned out. I mean, the nice thing about painting plants is you can't do a lot wrong, not really, because you don't have to create any kind of real resemblance, and I find it very relaxing to paint plants. And green is one of my favorite colors, so there's that as well. Finishing off the last leaf here. Areas, adding some more dark paint for the center of some of the leaves. Where there's a lot of shadow. And now I'm just using a water brush to add some white gouache for some highlights. You can't see a ton of it right here, but in some paintings that will give it a nice final touch. So I hope you enjoyed my painting process, and I hope to see you again soon in one of my next videos. So take care and bye bye!